James Creedon on the other side of our studio, revved up, ready to go. Started with Calais, reactions online to the story, of course, they're ongoing, about the proposed evacuation of the southern part of the camp, which now is under a legal hold for the moment, but obviously it's a watch this space situation.
That's right. A lot of discussion about it on social media. Let's take a look at some of the tweets, some of the articles being shared. There's a map here. We'll start with that, the visual of a sort of a bird's eye view of what has become an informal town or city, a shanty town if you like, but that is the circled in red, or with the red line around it, the section of the Calais camp that is penned for potential demolition. Now you can see here this is actually an interactive map in Le Soir in Belgium. Belgium, of course, has reinstated border controls just today, basically fearing that there's going to be a flood of people going across the border. But you can see a church, a mosque. Here we have a school. Over here, this is kind of the road and the road. That's so it is really a city. There's even a theatre, right? And we were talking there about a church.
The thing to bear in mind here is that these are people who don't have a home,
right?
Who've made a home from home, and if they go back to their homeland, there's nothing down for them there at all. So this is where they live now, isn't it?
That's right. It is an informal city.
Regardless
and of course,
where you stand politically, it doesn't matter. This is where they live.
It has become a really sort of a semi-permanent city. Jungle refugee camp demolition postponed. This is the coverage in The Guardian, and they're talking about the judge who says she has a real problem reconciling the numbers of people the Calais authorities say are in the camp, and then the figures that are being presented by the associations.
That is interesting, because there's been this accusation all along that the authorities have kept the numbers lower to make it seem like, oh, it's just a small operation to get rid of these people, and get rid of these people is what it is.
That's right. And where are they going to go? Anyway, we were just talking there about churches and mosques. You can see here that's an Ethiopian church, and you can see the extent to which semi-permanent structures have been sort of erected. Now, Le Figaro has been, along with a lot of other media, have been interviewing people who are at the camp. This is Faroujan, who is a migrant, saying, look, giving us 1 or 2 more days here isn't going to change nothing. We'll sleep in the streets if we have to, but we're not going to leave Calais. We're not going to put at risk our chances of getting into England. That's why they're up in Calais. They want to access the UK, most of them. You had various people such as Jude Law over in the last couple of days drawing attention to the plight of some there. Now, there was a tweet I wanted to show you before that, some saying, look, these migrants are not in Calais for the good weather. They're here for a very specific reason. You can try to move them on, and the government is saying, look, we're doing this actually in their best interests, but they don't want to go. So it could actually get very tense in the next few days.
It's likely to. Jude Law, of course, the Hollywood actor, English guy, of course, was the man who wrote the letter signed by 145 other celebrities and eminent people, sociologists from Sciences Po here in Paris who interviewed the other day, lending their support to the migrants and trying to highlight their plight.
That's right. And actually, if you look at hashtag Calais, it really is associations such as these that are drawing attention to their plight. Approximately 300 lone refugee children are at risk of being evicted from the Calais camp, irresponsible. So there is a degree of criticism, but let's try to give, Le Croix, for example, the French Catholic paper, they have a big focus in tomorrow's edition, a pull-out section of the paper on the women of Calais, around 400 women living there, and basically they're not living in very good conditions. They're exposed to various kinds of violence.
She had beautifully groomed eyebrows, I noticed.
There you go. And a child as well. And so some of them are living in quite difficult conditions. The Evening Standard in London are looking at the case of Nabila about to give birth. Look, lots of lives being affected by all of this.
This is a huge story, James, isn't it?
It is a huge story.
It's the layer upon layer upon layer.
That's right. But another side of it then, of course, is the fact that it is a zone of lawlessness in some respects. And some people are posting these images of aggressive migrants trying to steal goods from the trucks. That is a quote from the tweet.
I travel via Eurotunnel quite a lot, going back to see my kids and family in the UK, and very often you see these things happening on the motorway. Right. A group of migrants will swoop by. Yeah.
And that's where the authorities will claim, look, we have to deal with this. It's an informal structure that is cropped up. We have to.
How desperate must they be to try to do things like that? You know, I've seen them sort of in the artificial lakes there getting washed.
Right.
You know, it's no fun. It's not a holiday.
No.
It's not a great situation, and this is what really people need to get in their heads, isn't it?
Two things to finish with, which pick up on what you're saying,
James.
Mark. You have a sociologist, Eric Fassin, who was interviewed by the Nouvel Observateur. Now, his thing here is this is a sordid comedy. Well, it's sort of a play, if you like, that is playing up to the opinion in the media. Now, what he's basically saying is this is just displacing the problem. It's not resolving the problem at source. It all looks good in front of the cameras to sort of, dismantle a semi-permanent migrant camp, but it's not going to resolve the fundamentals of the problem.
Looks good to voters too, who may be voting to get rid of things like that. Eric Fassan, the man you spoke about, the man we spoke to here on France 24 24 hours ago. James, thank you very much indeed. There's lots more to say, and we will say and revisit this story, of course. James from Media Watch, Marcus with the Business. Great to see you. Thank you for watching too. Stay with us. More news to come.